This is the Why Me podcast with Tarray Deaver. Let's go. Yo, welcome back. This is episode 2 of the Why Me podcast with Tarray Deaver. I am your host. I am excited to be here with you. This is Tarray Deaver. Thank you for coming back. If this is your first time here, drop me a message in the notes. Let me know that this is your first time. I would love to connect with you on IG. Hit me up. It's at Tarray Deaver. I'm overwhelmed really when it comes to this podcast because this is a part of my identity. If that was episode 1, episode 2 is on insecurity. And I want to talk about insecurity because insecurity is a tremendous threat to our identity. Insecurity becomes a threat because we have got to learn how to love ourselves and our flaws. It's easy to celebrate someone that's on top. It's easy to celebrate yourself when it feels like you knocked it out the park, where you did everything perfectly, you aced your test, you did your presentation flawlessly, you didn't stumble over any words, etc. You have got to learn to love you even when you make mistakes. Insecurity becomes an enemy of your identity because it ultimately says that there's something wrong with you. We look at insecurity as a statement of value. And you have to recognize that even if you make mistakes, even in the idea that there's something different about you, that different does not mean wrong. Different does not mean, I understand people will use words like weird, quirky, strange, but it's not wrong. Different is just different. And when we are insecure, we tend to hide and cover up those areas of our personality, those areas of our physical presentation, those areas of even our relationships that we feel are not acceptable to the masses. One thing that social media has done that is very powerful is connecting people of all walks of life, giving everyone a voice in this world. However, what social media has also done that is powerful has really magnified the insecurities of people. Because now we have put such a value on a like, a share, a heart, a comment, a subscription, that we take it as a value statement about us. We take it as if someone does not like or comment, or if our post does not go viral, then maybe there's something wrong with me. Listen, that is the lie of insecurity. And we've got to close the mouth of insecurity. Stop hiding from those things that make you different. Stop being ashamed of those things that may seem a little unnatural to other people. I'll share a personal anecdote of my own life. I realized that one of my quirks that I have, and I'm going to use that word with air quotes, quirks, and I had been doing it since I was a child, but didn't realize it until I was an adult. What I do when I eat my food is if I have a plate with several helpings, so let's say there's quinoa, and there's kale, and there's some chickpeas, and what I would do is I will eat in an order. What I mean by that is I would take a little bit of the quinoa, and then I would eat a little bit of the kale, and then I would eat a little bit of the chickpeas, and I will continue in this pattern. Now, I did not realize that I did this until I was an adult. People would point it out. Like, did you realize you do that? No, I didn't, because to me, it was normal. But if I allowed my differences to define or to determine my value, then I would probably go crazy trying to eat in a way that seems to be appropriate to someone else. Now, I wasn't doing anything that would break the rules of etiquette. I know my table manners, but there's nothing wrong with if someone chooses to eat all of their French fries before they ate their burger. Or someone says, you know what, I don't like ketchup, but I like tomatoes. I don't eat this, but I'll eat that. They're just differences. And we've got to know and learn to love ourselves and our differences. Your uniqueness validates your purpose and your value. I feel like I need to let that sink in. Because we spend so much time trying to model what we feel is successful, imitating things that go viral. You'll see someone do some dance challenge. Next thing you know, 1,000 more people have done that same dance challenge. You'll see someone that creates a product. All of a sudden now you have 10 more companies that are creating a very similar product. Not understanding that it is not in our ability to conform to the crowd that makes us valuable, but it is in our uniqueness that makes us valuable. It's something that we see in art. It's something that we see in money, precious stones, fuel, that when the oil is low, if there was something that happens and the United States is not able to import enough oil, now it becomes a limited commodity. Guess what happens? The price of gasoline goes up because of its rarity now. Anything that is rare is intrinsically valuable. Now, what does that mean about you? There is only one you in this entire universe. Just think about how valuable you are when you accept and appreciate the uniqueness that makes you you. You are not more valuable because you are able to do something the same way someone else does, because you are able to imitate someone else's speech patterns. And don't get me wrong, I enjoy seeing people that are able to imitate. I think I can imitate people pretty well myself at times, but that's not where I draw my value. I may entertain people that way, but that's not what gives my life value. What gives my life value, what gives your life value, is the uniqueness that validates who you are. One of my favorite quotes of all time kind of came upon me randomly. As someone that was born in 1978, I came up during the time of the Cosby Show and Different World, and there was an episode in Different World where Whoopi Goldberg was playing the role of a public speech professor. She was a professor there, and I believe the class was public speaking. And she was encouraging one of her students that was playing a role by Tisha Campbell. And she said something to her that has stuck with me from then until now. She says, "You are a voice in this world, and you deserve to be heard." How many times has someone tried to shut you up, dismiss you, make you feel as though your thoughts and opinions weren't valid or worthless? I need you to remind yourself, because if you take on that thought process, it will breed insecurity in you. But you have to have security in you, because if you don't have security in you, then it will lead to insecurity. You are a voice in this world, and you deserve to be heard. Your life is not redundant. You have something to add to this world. You have something to add to the people in your sphere of influence, or your ambit, as we discussed in episode 1. If anyone that you are in a relationship with does not recognize or appreciate your uniqueness or your value, then maybe that's not someone you need to spend the lion's share of your time with. Unfortunately, some of these people that I'm talking about are blood relatives. And some of those people you have to love from afar so that you can be the person that you were always meant to be. There's a phrase that says that hurt people hurt people. And in the same context, insecure people want to make other people insecure about themselves. You have to recognize about you that your life matters. One of the things that we have been seeing this movement over the last 2 years is this Black Lives Matter movement. Now, for some people in this country, it's a movement. But as an African American man all my life, it's not a movement for me. It's a lifestyle. It's a livelihood. Why? Because my life matters. Now, insecure people, they cannot acknowledge that without a disclaimer. They cannot acknowledge that for what it is. They would try to lump it in and say that all lives matter, which, I'm not trying to get political here, but that's not the point. The point is that I cannot allow the insecurity of other people to cause me to be insecure about myself. I cannot allow the prejudice, the hate, the education, the miseducation of other people groups, races, genders, etc., to cause me to shrink from being who I was always meant to be. We've got to overcome the temptation to compare. The temptation to compare will lead us to insecurity, because when we compare ourselves to someone else, then there's always a threat that you don't measure up. And that's unfair to you, because you were created to be you. You were not created to be like someone else. So why would you compare yourself to be like someone you were never meant to be? That would be the same as a fish feeling bad about himself because he can't fly like a bird. By definition, you are meant to swim. If you are a bird, by definition, you're meant to fly. And the definition of one life does not take away or does not diminish from the definition of another. But be you. Be you. People, I've noticed, highlight what they want us to see. We see it in social media. We see it in the news. We see it when people go out. They'll fix their hair up. They'll, put certain clothes on. They'll walk a certain way. Some people even go so far as to rent certain automobiles and rent certain lifestyles to project an image that they feel is popular or that they feel is globally acceptable. But those people often find themselves struggling with depression, struggling with suicidal thoughts. Why? Because the core of who they are, their identity, has been left invalidated in their pursuit of being someone they were never meant to be. It's how you can have someone that seems to be the life of the party, but goes home and is depressed. How you can see someone encouraging someone else and seems like they're so strong, but yet is still suffering in silence because no one knows what they're feeling and what they're going through. We cannot be afraid of the idea of rejection, that it causes us to hide who we are meant to be. Insecurity will cause you to be an enemy to yourself. And can I share something with you? It's unfair to you to take your good, to take your bad, and to compare with someone's good. Have you ever done that before? Listen, it's so common. I know I've done it, where I have had times where I would look at someone's life, someone's career, how someone was moving as an entrepreneur, maybe as an author, and maybe even as a podcaster. And I remember being on Clubhouse and I had to fight the urge to compare and my own insecurity when I was introduced to a podcaster who has 1 million downloads. Now, mind you, I met this person before I launched or even recorded my first episode. And already I'm beginning to have to fight feelings of insecurity. And one of the questions that was asked of this woman was, did you see that success overnight? Or how long did it take? And her response was no. It took 5 years to accomplish 1 million downloads. Did you catch that? 5 years. I was about to lose my mind in a moment, comparing myself where I am right now to what someone has built over 5 years. Who knows? I could do the same thing. Who knows? I could do better. I might not do as well. But guess what? It's not my job nor my journey to try to accomplish what someone else has done. My job, my responsibility, my journey is to be the best version of who I am. And if I remove the threat and the temptation of comparison, then it allows me to enjoy the journey. This is episode 2, guys. And I'm here to tell you that with all the thoughts in my head, with everything that I felt has challenged me, even before launching this podcast, some people might not have even started. But I can't be concerned about what other people. I've got to be honest about me. I have got to be responsible for the purpose, the passion, the posture, and the pursuit of my own greatness. Every one of us has it. Every one of us has greatness in us. And what we don't realize is because people highlight what they want us to see, we will take the full, unfiltered version of our lives and we'll compare them to the filtered, minute version that someone else wants you to see. Every one of us has issues. Some are just better at hiding them than we are. Every one of us has struggles. Every one of us has had failures. Every one of us that have tried something, that has stepped out on faith, has not always gone perfectly. We all have a story. And it's unfair to compare your complete unfiltered story to an Instagram post or to a Facebook story or to, a 10-minute YouTube video. It's unfair. Your life, your purpose demands more than that. Guess what? It demands more attention for you to deal with you than even what you're seeing on social media. So be happy with you. Just not content. Be happy. Don't just settle for where you are. Be happy. Enjoy you. Enjoy your company. Enjoy your journey, your life. And if there's something about your life that you don't like, then start taking small steps to correct it. Start taking small steps to do better. If we are going to be great 5 years from now, it's not going to happen in a moment. It's going to happen over consistent moments. So if we want our years to be great, then it starts with our days being great. And if we want our days to be great, then it starts with us managing our hours, our minutes, and our moments. One of the mottos that I have adopted for my life, I can't even say where it came from, was never be satisfied with yesterday's version of you. Let that sink in for a second. Never be satisfied. You might have had a great day yesterday. You might have had a day where it's like, this was a day of days. This was the best day ever. But guess what? If the Lord shows you another day, then there's another opportunity to pursue a better version of you. You were created to be more than what your reflection even shows you in the mirror. How many times do you look in the mirror and all you see are your flaws? All you see are things that need to be covered up. All you see are things that would make you insecure. If we focus on our flaws, if we see our flaws and compartmentalize our flaws as a negative aspect of us, our mistakes as a negative value statement about us, then those things will cause us to be insecure. But when we look at every mistake as another opportunity to get better, if we look at every flaw as a learning lesson, then it will help to promote us and to encourage us to keep going. Thomas Edison, after failing thousands of times in making the filament light bulb, he said that I didn't fail thousands of times. He says, I only needed one time to do it. I jacked that whole thing up. You see that? But did you get the point? The point is that even our failures are learning opportunities. Listen, if someone have compassion on me, go look up that quote by Thomas Edison about the filament light bulb and put it in my notes. Because I know I jacked that up, but guess what? I cannot allow that to bring me to a point where I just beat myself up. Life will do that enough. You need to be in your corner. You need to be the type of person that picks yourself up, because you were created to be more than what you see. And when you are satisfied and secure in who you are, then you can take the burden and power away from others to validate you. It is an irresponsible authority that you give to other people to validate you instead of you. That's your responsibility to encourage yourself. It's your responsibility to love you in spite of whoever chooses to love you or not. At best, people can only validate who you've been, or maybe even who you are now. But it is impossible for them to validate who you are becoming. They haven't seen that person yet. That person only resides in your dreams and in the vision that I hope that you have written down, that I hope that you have taken charge to become. And so you've got to be satisfied and secure in yourself and stop giving people the authority and the power to validate you. If they agree with it, great. Get on board. If they disagree with it, it's your loss. I know who I am. Because who I was is not who I'm becoming. Who I am right now is still only temporary. I hope this episode 2 has helped you, blessed you, encouraged you, strengthened you, even through my fumbles and my tragic misquoting of Thomas Edison. But I want to leave with you the declaration for today and a word of the day. The declaration for your today is this: I am valuable. Say that with me. I am valuable. Period. Matter of fact, exclamation point. Regardless of who agrees, regardless of who sees your value or not, it does not take away from the truth that I am valuable. And our word for the day is alembic. Alembic. Anything that transforms, purifies, or refines. As you continue to listen to your new favorite podcast, Why Me with Tarray Deaver, your life and mindset will be alembic. I hope that you enjoyed this. Come back and see me again. Make sure that you share this broadcast, download it, subscribe it, and hit me up. Let me know if you are enjoying it on IG. I would love to connect with you there. Take care, guys.
Thank you for listening to the Why Me podcast with Tarray Deaver. Make sure to subscribe, download, and share. Let him know what you think in the comments and connect with him on IG at Tarray Deaver.